Assalamu alaikum, everyone. I am Shanza Khan, the founder and CEO of Ion Ivy. I'm privileged and honored to have with us today Haider Sultan, the very first Yale Silver Scholar from Pakistan. Before we get into the details and chalk out Haider's journey, I think it's important for our audience to know, Haider, what is the Silver Scholar program? But even before that, you're going for a deferred MBA. It's not a common term in Pakistan. What's the difference between a deferred MBA and a regular MBA? Please tell our audience.
Thank you for the kind introduction, ma'am Shanza. So for the audience who don't know what the deferred MBA is, the deferred MBA is an option where you get an early acceptance into a very top MBA program in your senior year. So you have that option to go and work freely in any field that you want, with the safety net of already having an MBA admission. So you can explore any career of your interest, you can take risks, you can take entrepreneurial risks. So you're free to do that while having a backup option of an MBA under your belt. So you get an admission in your senior year, you work for a few years, you can work for 2 to 4 years, and then you already have a secured seat in the class. So whenever you're ready, you go to the class and start your MBA. So that's the whole deferred MBA program. But the Silver Scholar program at Yale, it falls in the category of the deferred MBA because it's targeted towards the undergraduates, but it's essentially designed as an alternative to the deferred MBA program, because you go to Yale after you finish your college degree, you do 1 year of MBA, but then you start the work experience. So you get to study the MBA course and study the integrated curriculum. You study with people who are coming after 4 or 5 years of work experience of some diverse fields. The people will come from management consulting, development consulting, investment banking, private equity, venture capital, government, public policy, and so many different, the fashion, and so it's endless. So the program is designed in a way where you get exposure to different fields and also build a foundation of the business, so that you are ready to deep dive into the practical business experiences after your first year. So it's designed in a way that you start your career at a typical MBA level job. So it accelerates your career by almost 5 years, because you don't have to start as a starting position. So you already have accelerated your program.
Seems to have a lot of advantages, Haider.
Yes.
But tell me, is there any reason, and LUMS for our audience, Haider for our audience is in his last year of LUMS. So he applied when he just got into his senior year. But, most students who are considering an MBA on average apply at least a minimum. The good programs require you that you should have at least 2 years of work experience.
Yes.
Is there any reason a student should go for a regular MBA and not a deferred MBA?
So if you are a typical business undergrad and you have a normal path and a clear path in your mind, you should be very clear. And if you're very clear on that, you should definitely go and work after your undergrad degree. If you are unsure, you want to take risks, you should go for the deferred MBA. If you want to have an accelerated path, you should go for the Silver Scholars MBA. But saying all that, there are some disadvantages to such a program such as Silver Scholar. It's an exciting program. It offers you it's an early career launch pad and all that, but also at the same time you have disadvantages because it requires exponential learning. So you have to learn, and also when you're applying for the jobs, you're competing against the same pool who have a few years of work experience under your belt. So you have to really sell yourself in a way that you are on par with them, even though you don't have the work experiences. And also another disadvantage can be not many people know about these programs. These are very small programs. It's very small cohort, only 10 to 15 Silver Scholars. And also for the deferred MBA, the numbers are around this annually. So around the world, so there are only few people who get it through the deferred MBA and the Silver Scholar program. But also again, there are disadvantages because you get access to the network, you get access to the universities, business schools resources, which are very different to the college resources. because they're very professional, they're very formal, they're very well connected. So like you get access to those resources very early on in your career. So like, and also you will get done with your MBA before your back gives out. So like I think that sums it up.
I would say one other point would be, for myself also, many other programs, like if you're going for an MPP and so on at top schools in the US, you do not need that work experience. And when you are applying at that particular point and you have to give standardized tests like GRE or GMAT, you're out of the studying zone.
Yeah.
So it's harder to do a full-time job and prepare for your GRE or GMAT at the same time. I'm hoping it was easier for you since you were still in school.
Definitely, that is one major reason. So if you're in school, you're in a habit of taking tests. So it's easier for you to study and like score higher on the standardized test as compared to someone who is professional working, because you only have mostly you have the weekends to study, and it requires it requires consistent practice. And like stats also show that people who are still in college like tend to score higher on the GMAT and the GRE as compared to people who are working. It's very difficult because if you don't get the desired score, you have to get, like, I think for professionals you have to wait almost 6 to 12 months to give another attempt, because then you have to take leaves and you also have to manage all of that. So it's better to get done with your standardized tests in your college, even if you're going for a regular MBA after 2-3 years, because your test score is valid for 5 years. So it's better to get done before you graduate. So you don't have to worry about that, and you can worry about your work and get promoted earlier.
No, so key takeaway, whether a deferred MBA is for you or not, and their advantages and disadvantages, do try to get your GRE and GMAT done while you are still doing your undergraduate, even if you plan to apply later. A key aspect of the deferred MBA, Haider, is, as you know, knowing very early on that this is my goal, because you have to make sure that everything is aligned by the time of your application. So I would like you to walk our audience through on the different components. Let's talk about the academics first. What kind of subjects and majors do deferred MBA programs like? What are they trying to see in terms of that? What are the kind of grades and GPAs they're looking at? What are the kind of test scores you need? Let's talk about the grades first.
So deferred MBA programs, like these are offered by like the top schools. So like we have HBS, we have Stanford GSP, we have Wharton, we have Columbia and Kellogg and Chicago Booth. So like so we only have a select pool of schools who offer the deferred MBA. So, and as we know, these are very top schools and very selective. And
absolutely
very hard to get into. And then of course Yale Silver Scholar program. So like when you so for each school is looking for something very different. So generally the deferred MBA program is designed to target non-traditional business students, so that because originally it was, so business schools tend to lose talent to the law school and also to the to STEM schools, right?
Okay.
So the one of the main purpose is to get non-traditional students into the business path at very early on. So
just to clarify, when you say a non-traditional business student, what exactly do you mean by that?
So STEM majors, social sciences, humanities, like English majors. So like people.
So an English major can apply for deferred MBA.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, this is a takeaway for our audience, because typically we tell you take the correct courses or courses which are aligned. So that means a STEM student or a humanities student still has a great chance at a deferred MBA.
I would say a STEM student and an English major would have a better shot at getting into a deferred MBA than a traditional business undergrad, because it makes you more unique. But also at the same time, you have to show leadership traits because you don't have full-time work experiences. So like, so you have to have better than the average GMAT, GRE scores and the GPAs for the school. You have to have go a bar above that. You have to have excellent leadership qualities. You have to show initiative. So for the 4 years in your undergrad, you have to show leadership. You have to, they want to see where you took initiative, where you took the lead, where you created an impact, how you created an impact, and most importantly, why you created that impact. That can be in any field that you want. That can be STEM, that can be in academia, that can be anywhere. So, for example, I read about a profile of a person like from the US, but he was a Pokemon enthusiast, and he was actually during his undergrad he was I think a professional winner of a Pokemon championship, and he used to like be a commentator and moderate Pokemon championships in Japan, official ones. And like, and I think that made him very unique, and he wanted to stand for deferred MBA. And
Wow. Not something that you would think
yeah.
would get you into it. A Stanford program playing Pokemon. Okay, gamers, there is hope for you. Going back to, yes, the academics, the GPA, the SAT scores have to be above average. In terms of courses, though, Haider, did you purposefully take the more difficult and rigorous courses? Is that something you have to demonstrate no matter which stream you're in?
For any kind of MBA, for deferred MBA, for the Silver Scholar MBA, for the regular MBA, the schools would dig deep into your transcript. They want to see the courses that you have taken and the kind of trend you have in your grades. That's also very important. They want to see quantitative courses. The courses have to be quantitative. They want to see rigorous courses. They also want to see that you have taken courses out of your own interests, right? You have studied like different diverse set of courses.
What did you study, Haider? Give some examples.
Oh, I studied. I was a finance major, so like I studied accounting and finance. I concentrated in finance, but outside of finance, I studied lots and lots of marketing. Like I think I have taken like I think 80-90% of marketing courses that LUMS offers. I think I also studied some public policy courses, so urban planning. So like that seemed very interesting. That how do you design and plan a city? So that was something that seemed very interesting to me. So out of my core courses like corporate finance and like investments and all that. So like I took my fair share of interest, and like and also like studied even though it was not required. I studied linear algebra. I studied differential equations. So like but that's very important that you even though it was not required, I studied econometrics. So like you have to take more quantitative courses. Even if you're English major, you should take quantitative courses because that shows your quantitative skill. Even if you have not taken quantitative course and you want to go for an MBA, so that's where the standardized test comes in, right? And the standardized test has two components: your verbal and your quantitative part. And like and for an MBA, they emphasize more on the quantitative part because it's a quantitative program. It's very analytical. It's very quantitative. You have to be very good with numbers. You have to maximize the shareholder value. So quantitative courses are very important, and like and your transcript should speak about your interests.
It is how it is, even though some people are a bit apprehensive from quant. And if that is the case, then maybe this is not the program for you because they do require those kinds of skills. But latching on to a key component that you said on demonstrating leadership and showing impact. Haider, tell me a little bit about your journey throughout LUMS. What kind of positions? Let's first talk about what the university offered in terms of clubs and societies. How did you position yourself from freshman year onwards? And then we'll come to your internships.
So the moment I entered LUMS, I pretty much knew that I had to dig deep into the extracurriculars and the activities. I researched and so LUMS has lots of clubs. Like it has 50 plus clubs that you can join. Some are competitive, some are not, some are easy to get into. So you really have to find your interest. So I was very much interested in entrepreneurship.
Does it make a difference which club you're in?
I don't think so.
Okay.
It should just align with your story.
Okay.
It should align with your story. It should align with your interest. For example, if you want to become a chef one day and you are interested in culinary, you should join the culinary club. You should lead the culinary club. You should take initiative in that. So that shows leadership, right?
Okay.
I was very much interested in entrepreneurship, and I was very much clear about it because in my high school I had participated in YLES, which is like a huge summit that LUMS offers, and like I was pretty much in love with this entrepreneurial landscape. And Pakistan is going through a developing startup in the VC ecosystem. So entrepreneurs like club made a lot of sense for me, and like few of the clubs I was also interested in, but I didn't get in.
I'm actually happy that, we should showcase how challenging the journey can be.
Yes.
So tell us about which clubs you applied to in freshman year, Haider.
Yeah.
Where did you get in? Where did you not get in? And what did you do with it?
Yeah, so I applied to two clubs, so Entrepreneur Society, and the other one was the consulting group. And like I got dinged from the consulting group in my freshman year and in my sophomore year.
Wow. And the irony of that is amazing.
So there can be various reasons. Like for in freshman year, so sometimes you're not ready for that. And I want to share that when I was in high school, I applied to like I think 20 plus colleges in the US and the Canada. So like I got into a few of them, but I think I got rejected from more than 10 colleges and universities. But that's okay. It doesn't. If you face failure, it is because it's mainly because you are not ready yet, and you just have to work on your weaknesses and to turn them into strengths. And I think I pretty much had that mindset when I entered LUMS. So when I joined the Entrepreneur Society, I knew where my interest was. So there are different departments. So I was responsible for the corporate relations. I was meeting the corporate people, the marketing heads, the C-level executives, and pitching this and that to them. And I was responsible to raise funds. So that was I think that was where you apply your skills in the real life, and you can actually I think it's very good. It's a very good feeling when you receive a check and you get money. I think that was the first signal that I should do an MBA.
Okay.
So
entrepreneurship club.
Yeah.
And what else?
I think I only applied to two clubs, the consulting club and the entrepreneur club. One was a reject and one was an acceptance. So and I stuck with that, and it was competitive. I would say some clubs are very competitive, but there are some clubs that are not. So it also, because again, it depends on how many people are applying and how many capacity they have, how much capacity they can offer. So but just focus on just make sure that you are applying to the club that you are passionate about, that you know where you can contribute to and where you can learn also.
So did you stick with this throughout your sophomore and junior year as well, or did you pivot or?
No, I stuck with the Entrepreneur Society. So when I joined, I was a manager. Then I became an assistant director. I was leading a team of 13 managers, and then I became the convener for the YLES Summit. The main reason I joined the club, and then I was eventually leading a team of 180 students. I organized the summit. I collaborated with UC Berkeley, University of Manchester, lots of companies, lots of people, and to 1,200 judges and speakers coming in. So it was an amazing experience.
So showing growth in a club over a period of time and showing commitment to what you profess you like.
At the same time, also it wasn't a club, but also I wanted to join the student government in LUMS. So I think. So the Entrepreneur Society and the clubs part was the selective part of the process where you show that you made it through a huge set of applicants, and you got promoted at every step, right? That was selection. And then there's another leadership part, which is the election part.
So selection first, and then the election.
Yeah. So you can go with either of them, and you can go with both of them. So so for selection, I ran for the election, and alhamdulillah, I won the seat and served as the batch representative, and so that's where you can showcase your administration and leadership skills, right?
Absolutely.
So if people love you, and why do people love you? Why would people vote for you? Because if they believe in you, then that's when they will believe in the vote for you, right?
Yeah.
So and also it gives you a platform, and it doesn't matter which university you're from. You should just take an initiative, just go for it. You can, because every university, I think, that provides a platform, but I think the students don't take much initiative.
Okay.
So academics is one part. So like you have to be very excellent in that. That's a given.
That's a given.
That's
Yeah.
a given. So you have to be. So you have to go beyond that. So you have to find your X factor, which makes you unique, right?
But from all that you're telling me, Heather, and I know or have some idea about the number of hours it takes to
Yeah.
campaign, to market, to get those checks. How did you do that and not let your grades suffer?
So
What is the secret sauce?
So when I would say the same thing what I said when I was the assistant director in the LUMS Entrepreneur Society. So I recruited my 13 managers. So like 500 people had applied. I selected 13 out of them, right? So my first meeting with them, and I said, if you want to work with me and any of the society, you want to say in the club, so forget about the sleep. So for the next 2 years, you don't sleep. Like it's okay, it's perfectly fine. Like work hard. You will reap the benefits. You will enjoy the benefits. You will learn. You will grow, and you will not regret it. सोने के लिए पूरी जिंदगी पड़ी है ठीक है so like
there are no shortcuts.
Yeah, there's no short. You have to work hard. You have to when everyone else is sleeping, just go grind, and like you have to work hard. Like there's no shortcut. There's definitely no shortcut. You have for the results to come in, you have to work. You have to study. You have to work. You have to balance everything. That's the whole multitasking and balancing. That's what college is all about. And college is very important. It's about networking, meeting the maximum people you can, and having coffees with them, and like going out. It's not you make friends, but there's a difference between making friends and networking.
Yeah,
It's a very thin line. You have to understand before you enter college, and that's very important. And make professional, lifelong networking relationships, and that's very important. So like,
absolutely very important piece of advice. And the balance between not just the extracurriculars. So this is going on during the academic year.
Yeah.
And then there are the summers,
Yeah.
the all important summers, and how, where you're going to intern. Tell me, Heather, and share with the audience, at what point did you decide my goal is to do a deferred MBA? And this is the kind of pathway I want to take. And this is how I selected my internships. And share with our audience the dilemmas you faced when deciding where to intern.
Okay, so internships, like very interesting part, and like it has gotten so much competitive now. So whenever you talk internships, so if you're going towards a top MBA program or top MS program, I definitely wanted to go for a graduate school, but I wasn't sure in my freshman year whether I wanted to do an MBA, whether I wanted to do a master's. So you have to take into account several factors: your interest, and also the cost of the program. That's very important, and also the ROI of the program. So So I was pretty much very clear from the early on that if I had to go to a graduate school, it has to be a very good graduate school. So it has to be very well respected, because otherwise I don't.
It's a terminal degree.
Yeah, it's a terminal degree. You have to stick with the brand. You have to stick with the network. It has to be a place where it offers all of that, right? So I knew from the early on that I would need internships. I would need extracurricular activities. I would need very good grades. So for the internship, so I pretty much you have to go hard on everywhere, right? So you have to go you have to apply everywhere, right? So there is no guarantee where you will get in, but you have to have a certain interest. Like if you're interested in the FMCG sector, fast moving consumer goods, so you go apply to Procter and Gamble, Unilever, and the Nestle's and the Reckitt's. So if you are interested in finances, there's PwC in Pakistan, there's KPMG in Pakistan, there's banks in Pakistan.
Did the university help you with these internships and landing these internships?
The university can point the direction to you, can tell you these internships are open, but at the same time, so you have to apply yourself.
The hustle is yours.
The hustle is yours. It's the same everywhere. It's same everywhere. And you have to apply yourself. You have to reach out to people. You have to talk to them. You have to showcase that you are interested, even when you're a freshman, especially because you don't have any prior internship experience. Getting the first internship, you have to network very hard from the early on, right? So you have to talk to people. You have to reach out to people. You have to show them
so where did you intern in freshman year?
So I interned at Nestle. So
how did you land it?
So networking was one part of it.
How did you network? I want to break it down for our audience so that they can see kind of the steps you took.
I would tell everyone right now. So like I finished my A-levels in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was June, and then COVID came in March, and I already had a LinkedIn account in May, right? June, July, I was cold messaging everybody I could find from McKinsey, from Bain, like all these top schools, and I think. And fun fact, like the first person who replied to my message, Bilal bhai, I thank you so much for everything. So he was working at McKinsey, and he was a very senior a senior position. He was a senior associate or a senior analyst in McKinsey, and he was a LUMS alumni. I was just a boy who had just finished high school, and I was very ambitious and like reaching out to people. Yeah, I want to talk, I want to chat. Please tell me how I want to get into McKinsey at the end of my 4 years. I मुझे भी से plan करना है. Like he was very kind enough to get on a call with me and guide me. He was like, it's okay, you plan everything. It's okay if things don't go according to the plan. It's perfectly fine. You will make your own journey, and you will eventually land where you want. And the fun fact is, so Bilal bhai actually went to Yale for his MBA. The moment I started LUMS, he got into Yale that year, and then 3 years later, I also got into Yale, and so it was very, very much interesting. So I think
So LinkedIn networking.
LinkedIn networking, yeah, that was one part. And you reach out to people. So like I've been seen zone, like I think dozens of times, hundreds of times, like even right now. So I get seen zoned every now and then. It's perfectly fine. It's okay. They will listen to you later. So like don't worry. So like but there will be people who will be willing to help you, and that's important because there will be people who will reach out to you, and you should offer them help because that's
Pay it forward.
Pay it forward. Yeah, that's very important. So LinkedIn, and then you reach out to friends, and then the networks, and like
The friends and family network.
Yes, the friends and family network is very important. Your friends, their parents, like ask them, request them if you want to meet somebody. Go very professionally. Go be very formal. Be very professional. Be very polite. And I think people are nice enough to, I think, have a 15-minute chat with you. So I think that's how you start networking. And then you go on, and when you build a network, there's networking events in everywhere around the world. So you go to them. Be confident. Don't ever feel that you were not experienced yet. Be very confident. You will get there. And I think you were already at a better pace than most of the people if you start networking earlier, because I know people who are in their 40s and 50s, they don't network at all. So like you should show initiative at the earliest. I think you're doing pretty good. So like don't ever like feel underconfident that you're such an unexperienced guy. Why would someone well experienced talk to you?
Yeah.
So you just have to be very passionate.
Have to put yourself out there.
Yeah, definitely.
So first internship at Nestle. What about your second and third year?
My second internship was a compulsory part of my finance degree, because you have to intern at a firm, at a financial services firm. So that was placed by LUMS. That was 100% done by LUMS, and I was placed at PwC. So I got to work on a project with a client with a major bank in Pakistan. So like that was interesting. And for the third year, so like I applied to lots of places. I got into very top places. I also got rejected by very top places. So I think I'm telling this because it's very important, because people talk about the success.
They don't talk about their failures.
And I think I want to put it out there. Like I was rejected from I think Procter and Gamble. I was rejected from Unilever. I was rejected from Reckitt after the final round of interviews. Perfectly fine. I got into Citibank. I got into Endeavor. Citi was excellent. They were very smart people, and I had some personal reason, but also another reason was that Endeavor was launching in Pakistan. It was a non-profit. For some people, it wouldn't make sense, but for me, it made sense. I was interested in the startup and the VC landscape. I wanted to explore more of that. They gave me more ownership. It was just me and a manager. I was meeting C-level executives and founders.
That was a risk, though.
Yeah,
I think most students would have gone with the safety.
Yeah.
The established safety, which is Citi.
Yeah.
And it was a risk.
Definitely.
That you went with Endeavor. Were you thinking at the back of your mind that this would add to my narrative and story? Or what were your reasons?
Again, one reason was like my mother wasn't well, and I couldn't leave Lahore. That was the major reason for me. So the second reason was, again, I was my interest and passion, and city was also my interest. And like as I like I very much love city. They have the smartest people. Like I think in bonds and Islamic bonds, like city has been like on the forefront in Pakistan. Like Mr. Shaukat Aziz, who was the finance major, was from Citibank. And like so like very smart people, and I wanted to work with them. But then the endeavor was like, I think the ownership was a part, and then the third also, I think the narrative. By then I also like thought that if these reasons are in front of me, and then the third, it was a minor reason that it would add to my narrative and my story. But yes, I also considered that at one point, and went with the endeavor. And also I think I made the right choice, but also at the same time. I remember that very clearly. I reached out to the people who had interviewed me in City, and I said that these are the reasons I can't come join City, but I'm very grateful for the opportunity that you chose me. I'm very, very grateful, very, very thankful, and I still have a good relationship with them, even though I've never met them. I never went to City in Karachi, but very, very nice people, but very grateful if they considered me for the role, but I couldn't go because, but again all these reasons, so like endeavor was the right choice at the right time. So if the circumstances were different, so I would have gone with the city at some other point, but at that time endeavor was the best. And I think I made the right choice because endeavor exposed me to the different verticals I was working on. I was analyzing different startups from different verticals. I was meeting like the founder, the CEOs, the VCs, not only in Pakistan, but Middle East and Southeast Asia, and like it was
Incredible network.
incredible network. So endeavor was amazing. It was beyond amazing. Right?
So guys, I mean, just to sum up, in terms of the academics, no compromise, the most rigorous courses, and it's perfectly all right. In fact, it's favored if you're not from the business stream, but from the social sciences or humanities or STEM, if you're looking at a deferred MBA. Your leadership roles within the university are extremely important. Your internships during the summers are extremely important. There's one key aspect to all of this, Haider, which I also thought played an incredible role in your application. And we can go on the different components of a deferred MBA application, which of course grades being the fundamental part, the essays, the interviews. But I think what I would like for you to first share with the audience is that by this time, you had networks so much, and you were speaking to alumni of Stanford, of Yale, of Harvard, and of Wharton, and reaching out not only to the alumni but also to the admission officers. And I don't know how long you spent doing that, but in one way it kind of came full circle because the people who ended up interviewing you were the same people.
So that happened because these schools offer some events, and like where you can so these are virtual events and also in-person events in the US, and where you can join and interact with the admissions committee, and like you can ask them questions, right? So I was informed that you should go there because sometimes you get fee waivers also to apply. You also get to get personalized feedback, not feedback on your profile, but like answer to your personal questions. So any concerns you have, so like they're more than happy to engage with you. So yes, I attended I attended sessions by Yale, I attended sessions by other schools also. So like the person who interviewed me is like she was also, she organized two of those events, and like I happened to attend both of them. And like I was reaching,
she's like, you're here again, Heather.
So like and also like I was talking to the Yale alumni, the Silver Scholar alumni, and like and it was quite interesting because when the person who was interviewing me, I happened to tell her that like so I was talking to these alumni, and like they happened anyway. It happened that they had dinner together last night before my interview. So like so it came to a full circle moment that like. So I reach out to people and like attend these events, and like these events are designed to like tell you more about the deferred MBA program, the Silver Scholar program by these respective schools. You can ask them questions. You can ask for their email. You can email them anything. You can, like, it's a good opportunity to interact, and also like to see the kind of applicants. So other applicants, you get to interact with them, so you kind of get an idea. So like so what kind of people are applying, so like from where they are applying, so like different countries, different backgrounds, different stories. So that's very interesting, and I think that's very helpful also. Like, and also you get free waivers. That's also very important.
Note to the audience, this is not just for the deferred MBA program. They are virtual events at the undergraduate level, at the graduate level, for all programs. And I think students simply don't bother
Yeah.
to go that extra mile. And I think when you are targeting top universities,
Yeah.
it is about going that extra mile because you're competing against the finest applicants from the
Definitely.
world.
Yeah.
So, everybody has great grades. Everybody's coming with like a background. So I think, Heather is the personification of going that extra mile. And I think it was the it factor, or, definitely one of the big factors in Heather's success. Another thing, Heather, I'd like for you to share with the audience in terms of the work that goes into the application. How many drafts did you go on your essays? And just because the students I work with, we typically want to have one draft, two, we're kind of done, and that's it. So just in terms of the work and the rigor of the process, can you just share with people who are thinking about any graduate program or even undergraduate, what kind of work goes into this?
Full disclosure, so like I've been through the Common App process, I've been through the MBA process, and I also like helped a few friends like on their graduate application. So MBA application is the most rigorous one. It's they dig deep into your. So they start from like why you chose this particular college, why this major, what did you do in those 4 years, and internships and like work experiences and leadership extracurricular wise. And for a deferred, by the way, for the deferred MBA, you need a job offer in your hand to apply. You can't apply without a job offer in your hand.
Oh wow!
So that's very important. So you need to have a return offer in your hand before you apply to the deferred MBA program. So
so you need a job offer in your junior year.
At the end, when you start your senior year, yes. So
Wow.
And also you have so only Stanford as a deferred MBA program allows round one applicants. So Harvard, Wharton, and others they only allow round three. So you can't apply in round one, round two for the deferred MBA. So like you only apply in March.
Okay.
In your senior year. So for the Silver Scholar program, you can apply in round 1, 2, 3 because you have to go to Yale the very next year. You don't need a job offer. So that's very important. So to consider. So like so we're talking about I think the essays.
Yeah. So in terms of how much revision and work goes into the essays.
Yeah. So my draft was I think finalized. I think it was the 9th draft.
Ninth draft.
Yeah.
Let me say that again.
It was the ninth
draft.
And I clearly remember for the first 3 drafts. So like the main topic, the main theme was different. For the next 3 drafts, it was different. For the next 3, it was very different. And then what was finalized was very different. So like so you write again and again. So you refine it. So it gets better every single time. But you have to have that mindset that like it will take at least 8-9 drafts. And even for the regular or MBA process, like again your story starts from like day 1 of your freshman year. Why this college, and then goes the 4 years of the college, and it goes beyond that to like the 5 years of work experience. Like, so MBA application is very rigorous. So like graduate school, the business programs, they're not very rigorous, but for an MBA application, you should be prepared for that. Each and every decision that you made in life, it has to be in sync. You should have a clear North Star. Your actions should define and prove that you have taken each and every decision towards that North Star. So it has to be very crucial. I think that one thing that I've realized from the MBA application process. And also like, yeah.
No, it's a very important takeaway. Once again, there is no shortcut to this process. And for people who get disappointed, it's you need to put in the hard work.
Yeah, definitely.
For this, I remember you sharing with me, feedback you're getting from Reddit on,
yes.
what different people are saying and doing, and all of this feeds into even the drafts that you're improving, because you're reading about, Stanford wants to see this particular angle in your application.
yes.
Yale is looking for something a bit different, and so you try and in fact tailor your essays according to that.
So what I used to do was, like, at the end of my every year in college, so, like, I used to post my profile on the Reddit MBA group, and like I would ask the alumni and the students at these groups, like, give me feedback. How am I doing good? Am I on the right track? Because even if I also another important thing, if you don't get into a deferred MBA program, if you're rejected, so like, and if you apply later on, that's not taken against you. That
Okay, very important.
very important. So like, in most of the cases, I think it would favor you because you were interested in the particular school and the particular program very early. So like, they would like that, so, right? So, and I am pretty sure on that. So again, so
So, Heather, any particular advice you would like to give to the audience, people who are considering a deferred MBA, people who are still doing their undergraduate? What would you tell them?
take the initiative, do whatever you want to do, network hard. Just don't worry about the people, what they will think. Just cold message them, cold email them. Well, even recently, when I met people in Abu Dhabi, and like people from the banking sector, like, they were like, you should just email 500 to 1,000 people. It doesn't matter if they don't reply. Few of them will reply, and that will have you. So you should not worry that they're not going to reply, they're not going to do anything, like what they will think. Like, you should never worry about that. Just go, email, message, call, just reach out to people and ask for help. There's nothing wrong with that.
Hustle, everyone. Hustle.
An interesting fact was that I wanted to intern at a startup at the end of my sophomore year. So I messaged the founders and LinkedIn that I'm very much interested in that. And then, so when I was at Endeavor, like around 1.5 years later, like at a networking night, so I met the founders. Both of them were sitting together, and I was like, okay, so like we were laughing and having good times, and I was like, okay, so like around a year ago, so like I cold messaged you on LinkedIn. He said, really sorry I didn't reply. And then he opened the chat and was like, I'm really sorry. And I remember, but he added me on LinkedIn, and like you connected, and like it was very nice of him. But the thing is, it always like shows that you are a hustler and you want to, you know what you're interested in, you know what you want, right? And you are going like an extra
You're going
mile.
the extra mile.
Yeah, and then like you're not afraid to like message the founder or the CEO or like just talk to them. It's like it's no harm. It eventually the founder himself told me that he was in the US and he wanted a job, and I think he emailed 100 or 1,000 people at Snapchat. Only one replied, and he got the job. So like
1,000 emails with one job, guys. I mean, that I think is the crux of it. You cannot let failure define the success you will become. And with that, thank you so much, Heather, for taking out the time to be with us today. Heather is wrapping up his senior year at LUMS and then heading off to Yale at Ion Ivy and in Pakistan. We wish him the very, very best of luck. My own prediction, I hope to see him in Forbes under 30. Like I said, Heather, I'm so happy to hear about others who reached out, who responded, and to your message, pay it forward.
Yeah.
And so we hope when others reach out to you after this story, you'll be happy to guide them
I would love to,
on the next step of the journey.
Thank you
so much.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Thank you so much, Heather.